I'll give you a clue. It was Grimsby.
They are pressing quite well. What's happened there? You've got to be joking.
Oh, sorry, I've done it the wrong way around, so I've drawn an arrow. I haven't seen it, sorry.
He must have a horseshoe up his arse.
If we're playing on professional and that's happening for Barcelona...
2 years ago. Sorry about that, I don't know what that was.
I'm sorry, that's just put me off the game. I'm not having that.
Anyway, segue, moving on.
What has that got to do with football? Why is that at a football ground?
Hello and welcome to the Honest Football Podcast prediction show for the 2019-2020 season. I'm Craig Savage and with me as always is Daniel Cody and Charlie Betts.
That's right, Craig. What we're going to do, we're going to go from the Championship all the way down to the National League South, including we're going to go via Scotland and Northern Ireland. We're going to predict who is going to get promoted or win the league and get relegated from each league. You get a point if they happen to be relegated and we predict them to be relegated, and you get 3 points if they happen to finish in the position that you predicted them to.
However,
given last year's debacle of Solihull Moors and a few others, which if you haven't...
Notts
County.
Can I just point out none of those debacles involved, mate? Carry on.
But if you're not sure what about, I'm sure you can listen back to the review.
click on the I button, you can get last year's.
Basically, if you pick a team that gets promoted and you predicting them to get relegated, or vice versa, you will then receive minus 3 points.
Yes, and I'd just like to remind everyone before we start that I won last year.
Yes, you did, yes.
And I won by a long, comfortable margin.
And if we're being really technical, Craig and I actually drew for second place, but in the show, Craig cheated me out of a point.
Yes.
So technically there was no third place. So I'm quite happy with that.
There's
joint
two,
second.
joint second. And
Out of three.
a lot.
And lastly, we do have to mention that just like last year, we've made the same mistake of doing it a week before the transfer window closes.
Yes.
So it could go a little bit wrong here.
But the time we're recording, it is 1 week before the football season starts.
Correct.
And we start off in the Championship. So Cody, as you won last year, you can go first again.
Your honour, as they say in golf.
Who have you
very
gone
much.
for and why?
This league, I think, of all of them, is the one I'm going to get the stick for. So I have gone for none of the relegated sides from the Premier League to get promoted. Probably not much of a surprise, actually. But in first place, I have gone for last season's ultimate bottle jobs, Leeds United. And I've got some reasons.
Yeah.
Helder Costa has joined on loan.
Yeah.
Jack Clark has gone to Tottenham and come back on loan.
Yeah.
So they have got an incredible attacking force.
Yeah.
They have lost Pontus Jansson at the back, but I'm not necessarily sure that's a big deal.
That's quite an odd move to Brentford as well, wasn't it?
I think that's a good thing for Leeds.
I think it's a good thing for Leeds. I think he's a very good centre-half, but I didn't think he fitted with their mould too well. So I think Leeds are going to win it. They've obviously done something I quite like, which is keep their manager.
Yeah.
So I think that will pay well for them, and that reflects in my other choices too. So as runners-up, and this is where it starts going a little bit more rogue, I've gone for Bristol City.
Ooh.
Right.
I'm going to guess neither of you two have got them.
No.
They've obviously lost Lloyd Kelly to Bournemouth, £13 million, supposedly, and they have replaced them quite well, and they've still got a little bit of the money remaining. So they've gone for Thomas Callas, the old Chelsea centre-half, played on loan at Middlesbrough when they got promoted to the Premier League. They've signed De Silva from Chelsea, the youngster, the left-back, as a replacement for Kelly. They've got Bentley from Brentford, the goalkeeper, in replacement for Frank Fielding. So they've got some really good players and a good solid base. And I think with Lee Johnson at the helm, who did a brilliant job there last year, they will be able to sneak the runners-up spot.
Okay. And the playoffs?
This is going to be the one. Are you ready?
Go for it.
And I just mentioned them a moment ago for a player that Bristol City had signed. I've gone for Brentford.
Right.
To make their way to the Premier League.
Selling Club Brentford, right?
Selling Club Brentford going into the season afterwards, or maybe in the season, to a new stadium.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, a very good friend of mine is a Brentford fan, and he said that he's actually worried because they don't always feel where they are at the minute.
Griffin Park.
Griffin Park, thank you very much.
Very good knowledge.
There you go, I'm getting there. But it has a pub on all four corners of the ground, little fact for you there. But they're obviously moving to a new place. But yeah, he's not as hopeful because of the cost of the ground. He said they might have one more year, then they'll start to sell again. So this is a bit like Ajax almost, he said, Brentford, that they'll do this year, where they put a bit of money, behind them, and if they don't get up this year, then it'll be sell.
Well, that's what I went for. This to be their year, them not to move into the stadium, because I know they talked initially about December or January. I'm hoping it'll be the end of the year, and if they're top at Christmas, I'm hoping they'll keep them there. But obviously, being top might be a bit of a push. They lost Bentley. They replaced him with David Rowe, a good young keeper from Blackburn. They've also signed Pontus Jansson, as we mentioned, and Ethan Pinnock from Barnsley, who's another good defender.
Yes.
And the reason I've gone for them is because those three form a really solid spine at the back of the team. So I've just gone. I know goals win games, but in a championship it's such a tight league. If you can keep 15-20 clean sheets, you might well nick into the playoffs. So that's what I've gone for. They've spent the money well. They've lost again. They sold Esri Konza to Aston Villa for over £10 million. And they've reinvested it brilliantly on 3 players there. So, all prime age, and I think they're going to do a good job.
They did quite a turn up because apparently they still use that Moneyball system, you know.
Yes.
So, you know, that if they do go up, that could suddenly be a new fad that will sweep
I don't
through
know about
football
the
again, where
Premier
it's all
League.
about data. But anyway,
I don't know about the Premier League because obviously
no,
money
I'm sort of
they
joking.
get.
No, but
So
great,
wait,
over to you.
Are you sure?
You sure?
No,
Relegation.
not yet.
for,
No, my apologies.
I mean, I'd quite like to cut it off here because this isn't going to go great either.
Relegation.
I've gone for a couple of safe bets.
Yeah.
And one I couldn't choose between. So in 22nd place, I'll start at the bottom.
Start at
That's
the
easy.
bottom.
I'll
Who
start at the
will be
bottom.
bottom?
24th place, and it pains me to say it because I saw them twice last year in League One, and they were the best side that Luton Town faced. I've gone for Charlton.
Oh, okay.
Ooh.
And you thought I was going to say Barnsley there.
Why?
I was.
Charlton, absolutely brilliant when we went to watch them at Valley Parade, sorry. No, not Valley Parade.
The Valley.
The Valley.
The Valley, yeah.
You're right there.
That's Bradford City, isn't it, Valley?
Bradford City.
Yes, I called one back. Right, no,
By the way,
1-1.
spoiler, they'll feature in my predictions later on.
Go for it.
So Charlton I've gone to finish bottom. A little bit of a hoo-ha over Lee Bowyer in the summer.
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
all
that
a
was
bit.
weird.
Will he stay, will he go? Lots of different statements coming out. It just doesn't look like it's well run behind the scenes. There's
No.
still a little bit from the fans
Duchesne's
towards the
still in
owners.
charge there, isn't he?
And that's it. The fans to the owners. It's been a theme of my predictions for going downs. I think that's going to be a bit of an issue for them. In 23rd place, I've gone for another club who have had big financial problems and have been selling big players all summer. Birmingham City.
Right, okay.
So obviously they've lost Che Adams to Southampton, 15 million quid. Jota's gone for 5 million just recently, and they haven't been able to reinvest it because they've still got this cloud of financial fair play. Obviously they had a points deduction at the end of last season, and it's a very much a risk this year as well. And then in 22nd place, there were a few teams I couldn't choose between. I had the likes of Huddersfield in the contention. Wigan were going to be my favourites until I saw they signed David Marshall, brilliant Scottish goalkeeper. And as a result, I have gone for Hull City, who Charlie picked last year. They lost David Marshall, and that was my reasoning for it.
Wow. They
signed one striker, Tom Eves from Gillingham, who we mentioned a few times last year.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure he's going to be able to do enough to save them. Craig Savage, are you going to do anything
now
better
over
than that?
to you, Craig. Sorry.
Okay, well, I've only got one that's the same for promotion. I also gone for Leeds to win the championship. Look, Marcel Bielsa, he's going to bloody learn from being in the championship from last year. Obviously, very controversial season Leeds had with Spygate and Aston Villa moment, and basically losing a 2-horse race in third. So I expect him to learn, and obviously losing the semi-finals to Derby. My runners-up, I've gone for Fulham.
Right, yeah.
Could go either way.
Scott Parker, young manager, he's kept Mitrovic, signed a new contract, and by the time this recording, Sessegnon's still there.
Yeah.
And they signed Cavallero as well from Wolves.
Yeah. So
is Tom Kenny still there as well?
Yeah, Tom Kenny's still there.
Good player in the championship.
Very good player.
It was the manager that put me off, to be honest. I just wasn't sure over a season.
It's going to be a lot of the managers in there.
Yeah,
in the championship this season.
No, it's good a shout as any.
And my playoffs, I wrote down who will be in the playoff final, and I've gone for West Brom versus Blackburn.
Blackburn.
See, I wrote next to Blackburn, and I can prove it to you there. Dark horse.
Yeah, because they've signed some really good players. They've still got is Bradley Dack still there?
Yeah, and more importantly, they got Stuart Downing in on a free.
Christian Walton's there as well as goalkeeper.
Really good side.
And Bradley Johnson as well.
Okay,
from Derby.
interesting.
But I've gone for West Brom to go up.
Okay.
Because of one man, Slaven Bilic.
Yeah.
A legendary.
A brilliant manager, and I'm sure they'll probably address it in the next week, but the transfer window had worried me slightly so far.
The things with the Championship is it's so unpredictable. I think it's more unpredictable than the Premier League.
Well, we saw it last year. It's the hardest league to get points in. So.
It's the most unpredictable league. It's going to be it's for me, it's the best league.
And that plays into one man's hands, doesn't it?
It does.
Relegation, Craig.
Relegation. 24th, I've gone for Millwall because they are bloody awful. I went
Those are the comments of Craig Savage.
No, I went to watch them last season in the FA Cup against Hull. Yes, Millwall won the game, but they are very, very poor side, and their run after that was horrendous, and very lucky to survive. 23rd, I've gone for Wigan.
Interesting.
Don't believe in David Marshall as much as me.
No, because they lost Christian Walton, that's why.
But they've got David Marshall.
They lost Christian Walton. He's a better goalkeeper. 22nd, I've gone for what I did say from last season. I've gone for QPR.
Do you know what? I didn't put. I'm going to go down.
Warburton.
I don't know though with him. I really.
I'm just saying it because
Southampton's
he's played
decent
football with
players.
my dad. That's the only reason why.
No, but I haven't said for him to go down, but I think they'll be in and around
22nd, but
there.
it'd be close.
Warburton, sorry, I don't know. In that league, he hasn't really. Anyway, go on.
Yeah,
Sorry.
and obviously they're 22nd, and obviously we're Luton Town fans. Luton Town got promoted to the Championship. I said they'll finish 20th.
I think.
I'm 19th when I was.
Can I just say we pretty much all said that last year, and then they won the league. We all pretty much said, mid-table.
Mid-table, I did
half.
And this year we do have to accept they've got by far the smallest
Yeah,
budget
no,
in the
exactly.
division.
Yeah.
I think momentum a bit. Obviously there's a lot of common right.
It'll keep them up.
Yeah, I think that'll keep them up. Home record, etc.
Yeah. Charlie.
Okay. So I've gone to win the league. Actually, West Brom. I know you're saying about the transfer window, but I think Bilic, a very good tactician, and actually any club he's been at, or even national team, always had a strong home record, which is an integral part of winning a league. So
Unbelievable. It was unbelievable at Upton Park that far.
Yeah, I mean, every team he's managed, he has managed to turn that home record into like a fortress.
But if they're third in February, will he get sacked?
Well, that's interesting. That is an interesting point. I think, he can't control it. What he can control is something.
And they've lost James Rodriguez, which put me off.
I don't know. I think. I still think with him in charge, he's astute enough to get them through. So second place, I have gone for Fulham. Same reason as what you were saying, Craig.
Yeah.
I think Scott Parker, Mitrovic, etc. No need to elaborate on that. Right now for the playoff final, there's a couple of controversial ones here. I think Forest will get there, and the reason I'm saying Nottingham Forest, just hear me out.
I thought about them as an outside bet for relegation.
Really, no reason. If they can hold on to Joe Lolly, who I think is a fantastic player, I think. And they have been linked with that Stuani and Grzycki. If they get those lads in, a bit more firepower up front, I don't think they'll go up. I don't think they'll have enough to go up. But I think they'll be there or thereabouts.
That's so unstable though. The club's so
I don't know.
unstable.
I don't
If
trust
they
the
turn it
owner.
on though.
Like, why would you get rid of Martin O'Neill?
If they get the lads that they've been linked with, it wouldn't surprise you if they're
Why
there
would you
or
get rid
thereabouts.
of Martin O'Neill?
I appreciate that, but you don't know the behind. I mean, Roy Keane's a difficult bloke to work with at the best of the time.
I can understand Roy Keane.
No, it could be a lot more behind that. If he goes, I go, that sort of stuff. So I don't know. But actually, the team that I think, and you probably won't like this, but I do think with a year now of him in charge, Nathan Jones and Stoke possibly to win the playoffs.
So I wrote on my notes for Stoke, I wrote one more year because they've made some really good signings.
Yeah.
He's building a good championship squad, but I think it'll be one.
If he can hold on to Jack Button,
I
maybe.
think
Same as with Luton, it took an extra year.
If they struggled first by October, Nathan Jones will go.
No, they'll be
Yes.
up there this year.
If they struggle, I said.
So, bottom of the table, I have gone for Barnsley. I think the one you mentioned earlier.
No.
Quite a small budget, but their away form is obviously I know you watched them. They did well enough to get up, but their away form wasn't the best considering they got promoted.
They've got a very good manager though.
Very good manager.
23rd even. Sorry, I've gone for Wigan. They only won 1 in 17 away from home last year. They got. If I'm honest, they got lucky. I think last year with the fact that you had some teams who were pretty much
worse,
dead and buried. Bolton teams like that.
And Rotherham.
So I think another year they would have obviously easily gone down. And 22nd place, I've gone for Millwall. That's on the proviso, which I think Lee Gregory's possibly on the move. He's probably one of their only shining stars. If he goes, I think they're
and the legend Steve Morrison's gone as well.
Yeah, and Tony Cliff's gone as well.
So I think if Lee Gregory goes, they're shafted. They're done for. Dead and buried.
So none of you believe in David Marshall. Lovely.
Has been. And on to League One, where at the moment we know that two teams are starting on minus 12 points, but will that play a factor into your predictions? Cody?
I'd like to hope so if either of you have got some common sense. But okay, first place. I'm just going to get it out of the way here.
Yeah.
I've gone for a common theme with all three clubs.
I think so have I, actually.
Big teams stuck with their managers.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
League winners, Portsmouth.
Wow. Okay.
They've added solid additions, particularly at centre half, an area that cost them towards the end of last season. Sean Raggett, who was a hero with Lincoln in an FA Cup run a couple of years ago, he's on loan there for the year. Paul Downing from Blackburn centre half, really good player too. They've still got money available because they sold Matt Clark for $3.5 million. They haven't spent it all yet. They're owned by the fans, so I'm sure they'll reinvest it. I think they'll win the league at a canter. In second place, and I thought about this one for a little while, same for third really, but I've just edged Ipswich Town in. Paul Lambert's got teams out of that league before.
Yeah.
I think he'll do it again. They haven't had the best window so far, but they're still looking at signing players. And I'm taking a gamble on James Norwood being a hit in League One, and I think he's going to help fire them to glory. So Ipswich to nick second, probably in a dramatic fashion on the last day of the year.
Playoffs?
And playoffs, this was the really tough one for me. I've gone for just Sunderland.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're going to bottle it again. And it does pain me to say it, because as much as we were laughing at their expense last season, the stupid documentary which is going to end in disaster again
Can't
the
wait for
second
season
time
2.
around.
Can't wait for season 2.
I'm hoping it won't be the same as season
Leeds
3.
have just got one out
Leeds,
for
actually.
Amazon, yeah.
But
Well, that's going to be fun.
they're a big club and we want to see big clubs doing well. So I do hope they go up, and that's probably the basis on which I've gone for them, because I'm not entirely convinced that they're going to make it. The only other club I thought might well be up there is someone like Lincoln, maybe, because they've signed a couple of decent players, and we saw what Momentum did for Luton last year, so maybe they'll be up there, but we'll wait and see.
At the bottom.
A little bit easier. The only other team, by the way, I had near the top was Shrewsbury, but we're not going into that after Charlie last year. Wasn't willing to take the risk.
Mm-hmm.
See, this could potentially be deciding between 2 points. Between 3 points and 1 point, because I think.
Yeah.
So basically, I think we're all probably going to assume who the bottom two are going to be.
Yeah.
It's which way round we have them.
Yeah.
So I have gone, and I think we need to make a pact here as well, that if one of these clubs goes bust before the end of the season, we should probably all get 3 points.
No, that counts.
Yeah.
So
Which we hope they don't.
we hope they don't. I don't want any club to go bust. Bottom, I've gone for Bolton Wanderers.
Right.
I think it's going to hit them harder. Both clubs have a similar theme. The minus 12 clubs. They've not signed a player this summer, and they've both lost double-figure number of players.
Yeah.
So essentially, they're both going to have youth players in the squad, and be a bit like Luton when they had the minus 13. They'll be signing free agents a day before the season on tiny wages, who are probably journeymen or has-beens or young players who have got a point to prove.
Am I right in thinking Bolton only got the water back on like last week or something at the training ground? Like they only, all the facilities and that were back.
They're in an absolutely awful state. Both them and Bury are in an
Very
absolute
worse.
mess.
They don't. Well,
It might be them anyway.
And we're not going to go into the controversy of certain teams being given money to survive and certain teams not.
Yeah.
But
So you've got Bolton,
Bury next.
and then after that.
The only reason I've gone for Bury above
Okay.
Bolton, by the way, is because I think Bury have got more chance of making it to the end of the year because they have less of a running expense.
Right.
They haven't got as much stewarding for the stadium because it's a smaller ground, things like that.
Yeah.
That's what
Okay,
I've gone for.
Fair enough.
I'll let you carry on. Go on.
22nd.
This is where it gets interesting.
This is a bit weird for me because I had my 21st place set in stone, but I had 2 teams I couldn't pick between for 22nd place.
That's weird.
That is very weird.
Go
so
on,
the team
talk
I
to
thought about going for was AFC Wimbledon, but I think they're just going to survive.
Yeah.
Wally Downs.
Wally Downs.
Yeah.
We saw what he did last year. So 22nd, I have gone for Wycombe Wanderers.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Small budget. I know I went for them last year and they stayed up, but 2 years in a row it's a tough job. They've lost a lot of experience over the summer. Something that's a bit of a theme with my pick for 21st as well. They've replaced them with younger players. Again, quite often ones coming out of under 23 clubs. Last season it worked quite well, but you're never going to get that luck every year.
Yeah.
So that's all I've gone for it on. And in 21st place, possibly a slight surprise, I've gone for Southend United.
Oh, okay, yes. Yeah.
So the one thing that could save them this year is one of their few cheap free agent signings from lower leagues is Brandon Goodship, who came from Weymouth and he played for England C last year despite being in the 3rd tier of the non-league pyramid. So he could well fire the goals to get them to safety, but it's a big ask and I think it's going to be a bit too much for them. Craig Savage, how similar to mine are yours?
Very, very, very similar actually.
Go for it.
Wow.
So, but in different order. So I've gone for Sunderland to win the league this year.
Did you not do that last year?
You
You definitely had them in the top 2.
I definitely had him in the top 2. It's pretty similar. Pretty simple. They have to go up. Have to go up.
Yeah, I said that last year.
Yeah, but it's worse.
They've held on to McGeady as it stands at the minute.
As it stands,
People
I think
like
he just
that,
signed the contract,
maybe.
And they've signed
That's what I'm saying,
Willis
held on
from Coventry.
Yeah.
Good sign.
Very good sign. Very good sign.
But you could argue, is he going there for the money rather than the ambition of wanting to play in a higher league?
Maybe, maybe not. We'll have to wait and see.
Second place.
Second place, same thing, has to be it's Portsmouth.
I'm sure this is what you went for last year.
I think I
Have you
did.
just got last year's notes?
I did.
actually,
I think I did. But it's same thing with both Sunderland and Portsmouth. Despite having games in hand, both bottled it.
Well, that's.
Despite
I get
Luton,
the point, but that's
I
why.
know Luton and Barnsley were on incredible runs,
Yeah.
but they both bottled it.
But we do have to be fair. They both signed a lot of experience this summer.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Go on.
And my playoffs, I've gone for a game between Burton Albion and Ipswich.
Wow.
An Albion.
And Ipswich to go up.
So you're going for the same 3?
Yeah, same 3. James, you said about James Norwood, you wasn't sure. I'm backing him to the middle.
Yeah, I really think he's going
I think he's going to be absolutely superb. I think it's a great signing for Ipswich. And Paul, I know I slagged off Paul Lambert last year, but if he doesn't get it right, he will go. Simple as.
I really am surprised you picked Burton.
I went for a random one. That's my
Go
content.
for it. Bottom.
Obviously, bottom, I'm going to... obviously, we know the situation with them too.
Which
but I went
rounds?
for Bury to go finish bottom.
It's going to be a decider.
I hope they don't fold, but I think they will. I don't think they're going to last the season. They've got no training ground because Man City own training ground.
Well, they lost the manager to Plymouth and 5 of the players went with him.
Yeah, but the only players. Obviously, they've got no training ground because, as I just said, it's Man City's, and Man City kicked them out.
It's just so bad that you could get promoted and this happened. Like, you know,
it's weird.
Like Bolton
how
obviously
weird
was struggling the whole
is.
season, you know, prior to this. Whereas Bury, it's like successful year on the pitch.
Yeah, I'd say you've got to give Bury, the players and the manager, a lot of credit for last season. The situation they're in to somehow still get promoted and finish second place.
You say that. I remember Luton went there in the FA Cup, and then it came out that Bury would have had the second biggest wage budget in League One behind Sunderland.
Yeah.
It's a huge budget for a club that pulls in gates of 3,000 or 4,000. You know.
Just looking back on my notes, yes, I did put Sunderland and Portsmouth to win both in that same order. Bolton obviously finished 23rd. Same situation. I just hope they get sorted.
Such a shame.
22nd place. Now, I was higher than them last season, and now I'm going to do the opposite. It's Tranmere Rovers.
See, I know they've lost Norwood,
but only have they lost Norwood.
They've lost Steve McNulty.
They've lost Steve McNulty.
Come on.
Okay, he might not be playing at the end of the season, but lose that figure, obviously.
I will say that I had 5 and Tranmere were one of them. I think they might still have just enough compared to the other ones that are there. But I agree, losing Norwood is
a lot of goals. Lots of goals.
Momentum does a lot.
It does. And 21st place, I also went with Wycombe.
Yeah.
Just because I wasn't sure on them back in the last season, and as Cody just said, is a little bit of a chance to turn around. Accrington, the front three's still quite old. Accrington was still there. I don't know if Michael Smith's come back there.
Not sure.
Yeah.
But it does need a bit of change for Wycombe, and I think they'll go down. Charlie, who have you gone for and why?
See, the thing of going third is that it means I can make any quick tactical changes in terms of point scoring now. And also you've mentioned a few of the teams, which means I don't have to delve as much into.
You don't have to do more research.
It's almost like that's deliberate, isn't it?
No. So controversially, to win the league, now I know you mentioned Portsmouth and that. I'm actually going to go for Peterborough. I think Peterborough in the league only because
we went for Shrewsbury last year.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, hear me out. I know Darren Ferguson's there for 525th time.
You slated me for going for Peterborough second last year.
No, hang on. Hear me out. They've obviously got that Mo Issa from Bristol City, who I know had an awful time at Bristol City. I think he played like half a dozen times. But he was on when he was at Cheltenham, I think, before that. Yeah. Incredible goal scoring record there. And I think if they can get him playing in obviously the league below what he was last year, he should be good enough. They've got the goalkeeper Pym from Exeter as well, decent stopper. And then from Fylde, forgive me a pronunciation, Serhat de Tasmir, who was one of the younger, stars for them last year, who will be a loss for Fylde, which I mentioned later on. But very good player, good prospect. I think they've got some good firepower there. Is it Matt Godden?
Yeah.
Ivan Toney, some good players there. And I think that would be enough to.
I was quite surprised no one's gone for Ivan Toney.
That was the thing that swayed me, because I had Peterborough as a shout for the playoffs. I'm so sure Toney won't be there at the end of the window. Yeah. Someone in the Championship will take a punt, maybe like a Charlton or a Barnsley.
Maybe not now, obviously, maybe January.
Yeah.
Maybe. Well,
Luton still needs a striker. He is our hero.
Do they need a striker?
Yeah.
Really?
I've gone for Sunderland in second. You've already pretty much mentioned it. I think they maybe brought in a couple of experienced defenders, which might be enough to shore up what issues they had last year. The playoffs, I've gone for Ipswich to win the playoffs. I think having Norwood is a big plus. They pretty much had a League One squad since Lambert coming and building up from that. So I think it's a bit more settled.
To be fair, they had a League One squad for about 3 years under Mick McCarthy, and he was working.
No, I agree. But that's what I mean. But I think maybe with Paul Lambert now, it's more of his squad that he can, rather than that debacle he had to deal with last year. And a shout for the top 6, who I think might get to play a final, and you're going to laugh at this, but I'm going to go for Bristol Rovers. And the only reason I say that...
I said it last year.
Do you know what? I had them in my head.
Well, they've got that Johnson Clark-Harris, who I think got 11 and 16 last year.
Mm-hmm.
If he's a year older now, he's a young lad, obviously, but a year older, a bit more experience, played at that level. Was he at Coventry before that, I think?
Yeah.
He's a decent footballer. Tyler Smith coming in from Sheffield United. I just think there might be a dark horse to be there or thereabouts.
I think it's Shrewsbury, but you cut me off from last year.
You're tipping Bristol Rovers to be in the final?
I think, I would say top 6. I think there's a possible final between them and Ipswich, which, there you go. That could easily blow up in my face.
So, in the League One playoff final, we've essentially all gone for what would be a traditional minnow against a giant.
Yeah, basically, yeah. Bottom of the table now, I had originally written Bury and then Bolton, but I'm thinking, Craig, due to how close our points were last year, I might need to gain some sort of advantage on you, so I'm now going to say Bolton are going to finish bottom to counter your Bury finishing bottom. And I'm going to go Bury.
So basically, I won by a few points last year. Now he's copying me.
No. No. I'm just doing the opposite to him because this way.
He's trying to say
if I have two clear points,
starting the season aiming for second place in the Grimsby 3.
What I'm thinking is though.
You're taking it to the corner.
Well, he cheated me out of a point last year. If I can get it's almost like when you say to a centre forward. Say to a centre forward, you know, when you're playing the club linesman on a Sunday, give yourself a yard and then he can't flag you off. That's essentially what I'm doing now.
So you're dropping yourself deep to get into the.
Basically, yeah. No, so I've gone for them. So maybe controversial. Well, no, it's controversially smaller budget. Accrington Stanley 22nd. It depends for me on that Billy Key. If he has a season like he had last year, then they could go. They could start. Tranmere might drop in.
No written thoughts. I agree.
I think relying on one man is not an ideal way of staying in League One, especially when you've got a budget and the sort of players they've got.
I just think they're so well run. That's the end.
I agree.
They do okay.
I'll be honest. Between them, Wycombe and Tranmere, and then Wycombe we've already spoken about. I think the main thing I picked up on was the aging of their strike force. You know, quite jaded, etc.
And now it's turn to League 2, where 4 teams go up and 2 teams go down, where it should be really 3 teams go down, but that's another bit.
We've debated that before.
Yeah. Cody, who have you got to win League 2?
Well, I'm tied between 2 teams. I'm certain of what the top 2 will be. I just can't get the order. Mm-hmm. So the top 2 teams, I'm just going to name them before I decide finally what position I'm going for. Bradford City.
Oh.
Okay. If they can keep James Vaughan fit.
Yeah.
They've got Zeddy Ishmael as well, who was once a young wonder kid at Wolves.
Yeah.
And then Plymouth, very simple. They signed Ryan Lowe, the manager who won the league last year. Finished second in the league last year, got promoted. And they've signed 5 players from that very team, as well as the mercurial lower league talent Jose Baxter. So they've got a few excellent players. And they already had a decent squad, to be fair. They didn't go down by a million miles. And, you know, I think Plymouth are probably going to edge it. But I have on my sheet that I did 2 hours before written Bradford first and Plymouth second. So I'm going to stick with it. Bradford will win the title.
So who have you got for the 3rd team to join them? Automatically.
I have gone for Exeter City.
Ooh,
right, Charlie went for last year and I absolutely slated him for it, but there we go.
Oh.
They've signed Nicky Ajose on a permanent deal.
Oh, okay.
And I think they're going to... They needed that bit of firepower last year. They had an okay defensive record, but obviously they lost Tisdale at the start of last season. They replaced him with Matt Taylor, a former player, but I think they're going to edge it this year. It's 3rd place.
Okay.
Playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
I've got my final for this one as well. The winners of the playoffs, I think, are going to be Colchester United.
Right.
Wow.
Dean Gherkin, experienced keeper beyond the sticks. Luke Gambin from Luton Town, midfield, got promoted from League 2 a couple of years ago. They've signed a couple of other decent pros as well. And they were okay last year and they've added a bit of quality. So I think they're going to be up there. And I've got them to win the playoff final against Carlisle United, who I nearly tipped to go up, but I just think Exeter are going to edge it in the end.
Awesome. And
bottom 2.
Bottom 2.
So normally we would look for the smaller sides in this league, the likes of Morecambe, but then I looked at them, they've signed really well this summer, Morecambe. So I couldn't go for them.
Alessandra's come back there, hasn't he?
Yeah, Port Vale have signed a couple of good players, couldn't go for them. I almost went for Salford.
Right.
Because I thought,
yeah,
I really think the owners are going to get a bit big for their boots this year and go for you're not doing well enough, you've signed big players, I think you should be up there and
well, they're going to be live on Sky for the first 2 out of 3 games.
What a shock.
That is poor, isn't it?
We can't know because we're Luton's first.
Yeah, but you haven't got invested interest in the sense of one of your owners is a Sky Sports pundit, have you?
No,
that's the difference.
But let's not worry about that for now. That's all politics. We don't want to be in that. Bottom of the league, I've done what I hope any sensible person would do. I've gone for Macclesfield Town. And the reason I've gone for it is not because of Sol Campbell, because he's proven himself. I've gone for it based on the fact their players weren't getting paid at the end of last season. Yeah. There was financial trouble. And no matter how good a manager you are, there's only so long you can keep flogging that horse. You've seen it with other clubs, and we've talked about 2 in the last league. And
23rd?
If we get to the situation like that, Sol Campbell will go and he'll get a bigger job.
I was about to say, I think he can, whatever happens now, he can leave there with his head held up high, in the sense of what he did last season.
I just hope he doesn't follow the Paul Ince route, where obviously done well with Macclesfield, and then went to a higher job, did okay, and then went to another higher job and flopped, and hasn't really been anywhere since.
I'm sure the merry-go-round will kick in fairly quickly.
And then moaning on BBC Radio 5 Live saying you could do a better job at a certain club, and you.
I think you need to let your vendetta against Paul Ince go, and Sol Campbell is a good man.
I like Sol. Yeah. I can't stand Paul Ince.
You know what it's like, by October the merry-go-round of managers would have started, there'll be a job for him.
There'll be one gone in 2 weeks' time. Just don't know.
Anyway.
If it does go wrong, Ipswich is my tip for it.
Ooh. 23rd.
23rd place, I have gone for, and I've got to be honest, I could barely pick a team for this. It was so hard. It was between Salford and this side. I have gone for Cambridge United. You've done exactly the same. Well done, Charlie.
I haven't.
Copy of me again.
No. I'd already written this down. Is there? No, go on.
It was tough to pick between a load. Cambridge have traditionally, until the last few years, been a little bit of a yo-yo club between the two divisions. And as much as I don't like it, as it's one of the most local football league clubs to us, I don't want them to go down. But I think they're going to edge in 23rd place. Craig Savage.
I've gone completely different to every one of yours.
You did that last year as well.
I did, and I was proven wrong.
So, not with Tranmere.
Not with Tranmere. Tranmere was a fucking great guess. My team to win League 2 is Northampton Town.
I have them up there.
Host of signings, Alan McCormack, very experienced.
Will he stay fit?
Don't matter. Just be that leader. Be that Alan Sheehan to.
Yeah.
I'll be that Steve McNulty to that League 2 team. My tip for second place, I've gone for Newport County.
Okay.
Wow.
They have signed a lot this summer.
Signed a
I was
lot.
impressed.
Manager's still there. Obviously got a good cup run last season, and obviously got to the playoff final. Lost out in the last minute.
The thing that really put me off is I'm not sure that manager will be there at the end of the year, Mike Flynn.
Maybe no, we don't know. That's why I think they go up. I really do. My team for third is Forest Green.
Oh.
What?
No.
Not because of this. We're not going there. But they obviously quite settled now into Football League Live. Obviously got to the playoff semi-finals.
Have you just picked them because they were one of Charlie's dog shit teams last year?
No,
I couldn't
remember. I couldn't remember half.
Lost a couple of lads, didn't they? One of them.
I can't remember what half
Gavin
they picked.
Gunn,
But I tipped them to be third, and in the playoffs, I've gone for Mansfield versus Plymouth, and Mansfield up.
Right.
You don't think
Not because of that stupid signing video that they did.
Oh, Nicky Maynard, gee.
Yeah, only him can do that.
Yeah.
Well, only the Caroline Radford can do that. There was nothing about Nicky Maynard for that, I'm afraid. But I've gone for them.
I honestly think you not putting Plymouth to go up is the stupidest thing you've ever done. And I'm saying that knowing Charlie's probably about to tell the same thing.
No. I think Plymouth will get.
This is why I win the prediction show.
My tips for relegation though is Cody's going to go very bad with me. I've tipped Port Vale to finish bottom.
I can't remember who it was. I was looking and they signed someone who was really decent. I can't remember the name.
Yeah.
I just can't.
If they all go to Tom Pope as well, he did a lot for him.
Yeah, Tom Pope's actually quite funny on Twitter over the summer. To be honest,
well, that's not why I keep him up necessarily.
No,
I think as a footballer, he's good enough.
I just saw the transfer market. They've signed some good players, but you know.
I disagree. My team for 23rd is not Cambridge United, and it's not Salford City. It's Grimsby.
It's always Grimsby.
Is this because they made you look silly in an episode?
Is that because they're the start of every intro on the channel?
No, I just can't stand Grimsby. I've never liked them in the non-league.
So it's got nothing to do with football. I will say I watched them and they were the most boring team I've ever seen. But anyway, that's not a reason for them to go down.
I said they always struggled. It's not like they could progress. I'm happy that I'm there. I'm one of the boys. I'll just be in the background.
I mean, you are talking absolute shit at this point.
I literally wrote in my notes, haven't convinced me for years. And I'm sticking with that.
So for once, Charlie might be more sensible here.
Possibly. So I've gone for Bradford City. You'd already alluded to it. Is it Gary Bowyer? He's in charge here, isn't he? So you got him, obviously.
Copy me again.
No, hang on. I'd already written these down. James Vaughan, Clayton Donaldson's gone there as well.
Yeah.
Has he?
35 now, though.
Oh.
Owen Doyle, I know they're old, but it might be enough to carry them up. So yeah, we've already spoke about them. I've gone for Mansfield in second, actually, because I think you've got Nicky Maynard, who's as you spoke about, potent striker, and they've signed Andy Cook even from Walsall, who was their player of the year last year. Those two up front could be a strike force.
They're glamorous, that's what they are. Absolutely glamorous.
Thank you very much. I don't understand that reference.
If you watched the signing video for Nicky Maynard,
I
that was the song.
I watched it on silent, to be honest.
That was the song that she played.
So, thank you. I've gone for them. And in third place, much to probably your annoyance, I've gone for Salford.
You're joking.
No, just hear me out.
Are you thinking Sky are going to put them on TV so many times it'll fund them?
I'm also going to tip Salford in the playoffs, but not to win it.
I've tipping them for 20 seconds.
I've heard that David Wheater's coming in as well. It's in the old.
Jesus.
He's got to be getting on.
I'm just saying, in League 2, I think they might have enough. I genuinely think they might have enough. Adam really good like that.
David Wheater does.
Right, this one. Now, this hinges on one man proving his record, which he's had lowered down. And I'm actually going to go for Stevenage, I think, in the playoffs. They got. But still, hear me out, Craig.
He's just annoying, Craig.
No, hear me out. They've got a bit of ambition now. They've got. Is it Cuthbert who used to be at Luton? Nugent.
2 years.
Yeah, but just hear me out, Craig.
He's building a side.
I'm building a side.
He knows the name of a League 2 player. Give him a break.
And obviously, we spoke about it before. They signed that Jason Cowley from Sporting Bromsgrove. Now I know it's lower down.
Lots.
But still, Bromsgrove, whatever it is. 102 goals in 127 games. I know it's lower down. Still semi-professional football. I think even
decent standard.
I'm just saying if this could be another, I don't know, Jamie Vardy, whatever it is, if he could possibly replicate some of that, I don't know, it might be the dark horse that no one was expecting, possibly.
With the worst kit in the Football League.
They have got an awful kit. The only one who I possibly thought is Scunthorpe, but they have lost, I think it's Josh Morris who's gone to Fleetwood, so I think that might be a bit too much for them.
At the bottom.
So I've obviously followed Dan. I've got Cambridge United, Macclesfield bottom, sorry. I think the squad's just too thin, you know.
So you got Cambridge as well for 23rd.
And Cambridge for 23rd. Colin Calderwood's in charge and he's just not really brought anyone in, is he? So yeah, I think you've already alluded to that, Dan.
So basically, I can't win this year's prediction.
I'm
going to draw with Charlie.
No, don't worry, I've gone for Stevenage and who was it? I said Salford, so that's where you probably claw it back.
And now to the National League, where me and Charlie were very controversial.
It
wasn't controversial.
You cheat me out of a point, Craig.
Was it in the National? Was it in that one?
Yeah. Go on.
Oh, maybe because it was Solihull Wars. I don't know. Cody, National League. Who have you got to win it?
I've gone at the top of this league. I've gone for momentum, and I've picked two sides, and I've done a bit what Charlie did last year on one occasion, and I'm not proud of it. I've gone for teams purely on their manager.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, go on.
Winning the league.
Yeah.
Back-to-back Torquay United, Gary Johnson, job done.
Yeah.
Good squad. They had a National League squad when he went down. Gary Johnson brought them back up. If you take out that first bit before he was there, they would have finished over 100 points. So no doubt in my mind that they'll be up there. And then playoffs.
Oh, sorry. Playoffs.
Playoff winners for me, definitely going to be Chesterfield. John Sheridan, since he took over last year, they've done well. They've reinvested in the squad, and they're going to be up in second. I think second, and probably win the playoffs. Okay. Relegation. I'm teetering between two again. But bottom of the league, let's get it out of the way. Maidenhead United.
Yeah.
Not invested too well. I think I went for them last year, so 2 times lucky, yeah. 23rd, they got a reprieve last year.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem is they'd already started planning for the next league down, so they've lost quite a few of their players. Aldershot Town.
Yeah.
22nd place, they've come up and I think it'll be just a bit too much for them. I've gone for Chorley.
Yeah.
And in 21st place, I'm between two sides.
Yeah.
Halifax Town,
Mm-hmm.
who I think you two probably would have gone for.
Mm-hmm.
So to try and get some extra points, I'm going to go for Notts County.
Whoa!
And I'm telling you why. No
That's
signing.
the biggest controversy so far.
Hang on. No signings yet.
No.
Technically, they haven't really got an owner.
Actually, no, if you look in today's news, which you probably haven't because you were working, they've just gone to a Danish person.
Well, lovely. They've got a small squad at the moment. Whoever they're rebuilding with, I've looked in their pre-season games as well. As much as they've had trialists, they've been different ones in every game. So it's not like they've had a settled few coming in. And I really think there's a threat of administration. I know you say about a new owner, but let's be honest. Are they picking the best owner or are they picking a quick fix? That's my thought on it. I would have probably gone for Halifax, but judged on the fact that you two have probably done it, I thought I'd go for something different.
Craig.
Well, he said Halifax, and I haven't gone for Halifax at all.
I have. I have, so if it justifies
I
your decision.
have tipped AFC Filed to win the National League.
Go for it, go on.
Because they played some really good football, got in the playoffs, watched him in the final of the FA Trophy on the final day.
They were brilliant on that.
Very, very good. They should have been outside. But yeah, I've tipped him to win. Danny Rowe's still there.
Yeah.
I just didn't
no one put him.
I didn't think he would be at the end of the window.
Nor did I.
That's my reasoning.
I don't know how no one's gone.
I will say he is a bit older and actually.
He's around what 29?
No, yeah.
But what I mean, no, I'm not. He's not older. What I'm saying is
He's not one of them young ones you'll take.
Yeah, if you're a big man, if you're a big fish in the excuse the pun, but little pond. Do you know what I mean? Is he more settled there? Does he want to up sticks, move to another club, possibly not start? He's guaranteed a game where he is. I know it sounds childish, but it's probably that'd be my motivation.
And he's won a trophy at Wembley, you know.
Exactly. Yeah. And possibly Craig could get promoted. Anyway, go on.
Yeah. My playoffs. My team for the playoffs, the final is between Chesterfield and Solihull Moors. Mm-hmm. Considering I tipped Solihull Moors to go down last year.
And finish bottom.
Finish bottom, thank you. I've actually gone for Chesterfield to go up.
Right, agreed.
Via the playoffs. I did write my notes. Mad Dog, big clear out, we'll see the best of him. But as you just said, it's John Sheridan in charge.
It is John Sheridan.
But yeah, Chesterfield to go out the playoffs. My relegation tips. Obviously, I agree with you with Maidenhead finishing bottom. 23rd is Sutton United.
Yeah. Signed Aaron Jarvis.
Yes, that's the only positive I can think of that. But they've lost their manager. The manager's obviously left, and now he's
We
gone
talked
down
about it
to-
in the ramble, yeah.
I presume we'll
Got to have it, and he pulled off.
One of
Yeah.
the coaches has taken over.
Yeah, so we presume one of us is going to mention it in the next in the National League South.
But go on.
22nd, I've gone for Ebbsfleet,
Right.
just because off the field problems still seems to be a problem. How much more can the players take and Gary Hill take?
Did Alex Lawless go to Ebbsfleet?
I don't know.
They have signed Jamie Grimes, who you don't know if you.
Because that's the one thing that put me off. They had the financial trouble, but they've signed a few decent
Yeah,
players still.
who I think when he was at
They have
Dover,
lost
he
him.
had quite a
Yeah.
good little run at Dover, didn't he, Jamie Grimes?
So-
Was he at Macclesfield last year? I think he might have been. Anyway, carry on. Yeah, go on.
That's why I'm not sure off the field. The only reason I'm putting it
Yeah,
off the
no,
field.
Same as I went for Notts County, so fair enough.
And 21st, I've gone for Aldershot. As I said, they got lucky to survive because of Gateshead. Charlie.
Very good. Okay, so I've gone for Fylde as well, as you spoke about. You know, some good players, Danny Rowe, Kurt Willoughby, people like that. I think it's still, although they've lost that young lad earlier to.
Was it the young lad that's gone? That was man of the match. Is he gone?
I can't remember the fellow who was man of the match.
Mitchell
No, it wasn't him. No, he was a young lad.
Bloody
Different name.
brilliant.
Yeah, so him. Now, I'll be honest, my playoffs,
Mhm.
I literally couldn't choose out of four. So I had Solihull Moors
Well,
because,
yeah.
hear me out. They've signed Paul McCallum from Eastleigh, who, you know, cracking.
Goal scorer.
Goal scorer.
Big man.
Wrexham, they've got JJ Hooper from Bromley, who scored
Yeah.
quite a few, and then Devante Redmond as well. And then I've gone for an outsider one. I still haven't chosen really, to be honest. Bournemouth, they've got Cabango
Yeah, been
Chimanga
splashing the cash
from Oxford City, who scored I think about 40 odd goals for them.
He's a good
And
player.
Torquay United, as you said, with Gary Johnson. And I genuinely don't know who to pick out of those four.
Well, you've got to make a decision.
Well, I'm going
because-
to, and because he's already gone for one of them, I won't go for that. And you said Solihull Moors, didn't you?
I actually said Chesterfield.
Okay, well in that case, I'm going to go for Solihull Moors. And I think Paul McCallum.
I genuinely think they're a threat
interesting
of
is that?
relegation.
Really?
Genuinely think they're going to be close. Them or Harrogate, one of them's. I almost went
How
Harrogate
interesting
as
that
well,
you gone for a manager who used to be a goalkeeper.
No, yeah. No, I just think if he can keep it all together, with the addition of Paul McCallum, I think incredible goal scorer.
If we had great editing software, I would have put your clip in there of goalkeepers never make good managers.
Didn't their striker, the guy that scored against Hitchin in the FA Cup first round up, me and you went to,
Yeah.
still gets
And Charlie was sitting here, yeah.
Yeah, he's gone now. Is it?
I
Did he
think
get
he
sold?
has.
So,
Anyway.
they replaced him with McCallum, so that's a good sign.
So yeah, no, I think that might be enough.
But
Anyway.
who have you tipped to go down?
So tip to go down from the bottom. We've got Maidenhead United. They're only decent. Well, top goal scorer Adrian Clifton's gone to Bromley, so I think that would be too much for him. I've gone for Sutton United in 23rd. We spoke about Paul Doswell going to Havant. Possibly, I was a sort of toss up between the other ones and Ebbsfleet. I think Ebbsfleet are on the verge, so I wasn't too sure. But yeah, I've gone for Sutton United. FC Halifax. I think at one point they couldn't even get a team for a friendly, could they? Before a few weeks ago.
Oh, I didn't know that.
No, apparently. And
They have bought in quite a few since.
And 21st position, I've gone for Chorley, just because I think they're in a team now. They're a small team in a big league, and they're still part time, and just those little things I think will be too much for them. However, I do agree that there are a couple, another two or three could easily go out of that.
We're going to go to the National League North now, and Cody?
Well, again, I've done the same thing. I've picked a manager and picked the league winner. Blythe Spartans, Lee Clark, job done.
Wow. Because
Lee Clark is some pull off for that league.
Do you know what? I will watch the video on YouTube. You've also done predictions. I won't name the YouTuber because don't watch him. Watch us instead. A tips Blythe Spartans to go down.
Well, they have had some financial difficulties, but they've got a few of their players from last year to re-sign. A couple of loanees have signed on permanently. It looks like with Lee Clark in charge, they're going to back him. So what I'm backing is Lee Clark to take them up this year, and then a bit like Berry, they'll have overspent and probably come flying back down next year with a couple of demotions. But I
They're
think
gone
they're
to the
gonna-
North Korean interest as well.
Yes.
Just what I'd add that.
It had the advertising board, yeah.
Yes.
No relevance, but go on.
No.
And also had no relevance to North Korea. It was just
It's
going to have
just
a
a visit North Korea.
Playoffs. So I'm a little bit torn on this one.
I thought I struggled in this one.
No,
This is hard.
See, I did promise at the end of last season that I was going to go for York City because they signed Steve McNulty.
We'll go on to that.
But I'm not going to. I think he's going to be a year too far. And I think we're talking about a league, and no disrespect, we have seen some games at that level. And I'm going to the first game of the season for Hemel Hempstead in the South. But the at that level, quite a lot of teams do pick young, pacey strikers and give them a chance, as we mentioned, coming up the leagues. And I think Steve McNulty might not be the ideal man.
Yeah. Interesting.
So as a result, I've gone for them to lose in the playoff final against Chester City.
Oh, good shout.
Right.
Very
Yeah.
good
So
shout.
they were a little bit inconsistent last year, but at their best, they were very good.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm hoping they'll be at their best a little bit more this season.
Yeah.
And that is as detailed as I'm willing to be. At the bottom. So Craig, do you want to explain the permutations quickly?
So all I know is only 2 teams go down this year because the FA love to restructure the non-league pyramid.
Ridiculousness, but go on. Yeah.
And after this season, if lower down the chain, they're restructuring it again.
Yes. So we're not going to get into the politics too much. So I'm sure it will come up in a ramble or two this season.
It will come up at some point because I'm getting very annoyed by it. Yeah.
But as a result, I've only got to go for 2 teams to go down.
Yes, you do.
And as you guys are aware, I was so torn between a few teams that I picked them 5 minutes before we started. So as a result, bottom of the table, I think it's going to be a bit much.
Which is mind afterwards telling us who else was in contention.
Yes.
Go for
So
it.
you can pick them. Yes.
No.
Bottom of the table, I've gone for Kings Lynn.
Yeah.
I've got to say, I really want them to stay up. And I can't quite explain why, but I just want them to stay up.
Mm-hmm.
And in 21st, I've gone for Gloucester City. Oh, Craig's nodding his head. He's gone from
I haven't.
Gloucester City. It's between 4 or 5. So other ones I've got down are Curzon, Ashton again. Farsley, Celtic, although they've signed okay so far. Guiseley from last year, I know we mentioned. Hereford, God knows what's going on there. Kettering Town have come up, as have Kidderminster been in there, and it's just going to be so tight at the bottom half. There's still some other smaller sides as well, the likes of Leamington. It could be anyone out of half a league. But I'm going for Gloucester City, and I'm guessing Craig Savage has 2.
Yes. So my team to win it is, unfortunately enough to say, it is York City.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just because of Sumo, big fan of Steve McNulty. And obviously, I think there's going to be a little bit more momentum. They are supposed to be moving into the community stadium.
Yeah.
I think by the end of the year, if it gets done in time, I doubt they will because it's York.
Those are the thoughts of Craig Savage.
My playoffs. This is a bit of a random one because my 2 teams that I put in the playoff final is Darlington and Kidderminster.
Darlington, my 3rd.
Yeah, although they've lost
for
Jordan Nicholson, haven't they?
I've gone for Kidderminster to go promoted. I think it's their time. They had it rough, and I don't know how they've not actually been up there. Well, I know they were in the playoffs last year, but they should be nearer the top of the table. And I've gone exactly the same route as Cody for relegation. Kings Lynn and Gloucester in 21st. I think, do you know what? Looking at the map for National League North, because obviously from National League, obviously originally all 4 teams were south.
Yeah.
Apart from then Gateshead trying to go do what they wanted to do. And looking at it, the travel issues for Gloucester and for Kings Lynn, and it's pretty much the same for Kettering. It's going to be really hard.
Yeah.
Like to go from Gloucester to Gateshead.
Yeah, were they south last year? Or?
Yeah, they were south last year.
That's what separated Kings Lynn for me for the other sides that had been promoted is just the fact that they're going to have so much more expense on coaching. They're little things you don't think about because in a football league you don't have to think about it.
I mean, it's in the politest way possible. I've been to Kings Lynn, lovely place to go on holiday. It's not the easiest place to get in and out of. I know it sounds silly, but it's not like you're near a motorway. You know, it's all. I know, but it's those little things.
Does that cause travel problems for the away side?
You could argue that, yes, I suppose.
So basically,
not this year.
Accentuate positives in using the home advantage, and then the away ones that you have to try and deal with.
But if you can't like that,
Charlie.
So I've gone for York City to win, not just because of Steve McNulty, although obviously of his 2 promotions in Tranmere. They've also signed Andy Bond and Dan Maguire. So
Steve Watson's in charge still, isn't he?
Yeah.
So after that, then it was a toss up between 3 teams for me for the playoffs. So I had AFC Telford. They had Aaron Williams who coming from Harrogate. And they were up until the last day of the season. I think they were in the playoffs, weren't they, last year? So they were there or thereabouts. I was thinking about Hereford. Only because they got Jordan Nicholson from Darlington, who was their top goal scorer last year.
I've heard a rumour
and their budget has gone up about 40%.
I've heard a rumour they've scrapped the mitre footballs.
Oh, for goodness sake. I thought you were going to say something serious then. No,
they've gone for Macron.
It depends. If the rumours about this budget increase are true, and they've added an extra 40% to it, that might entice a few other
Money
lads.
doesn't mean success.
No, agreed. So the one that I chose, and it was very tight, I've gone for Altrincham.
I genuinely thought you were going to say Brackley Town again.
No, not this year. I mean, Altrincham were 5th last year. They brought in Nathan Arnold from Boston, Conor Branson from Bradford Park Avenue. A couple of good additions to an already decent squad. So I think they might just be enough But I think that playoffs is a tough one to call.
Yeah, it is.
To go down, Kings then we spoke about, although they won the Super Playoff.
That's the only reason why I took
the
just not because fair play for winning the Super Playoffs, because to get to the Super Playoff final is ridiculous to start with.
The problem is as well is, I mean, they lost Fraser Blake Tracy, who's one of their better players. He's gone to Peterborough, which you can never knock. You know, there's a bit of money for them. He's gone to a football league club.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm so impressed with this research, and I really hope it's true.
No. Yeah, you might want to fact
did,
check.
mate.
No, but that sort of thing. So if you're starting to lose your best players, I appreciate why they've done it, but you're going to struggle to stay in. And the other one I went for was Leamington, because most of their signings have actually come from steps 6 and 7, which, to be honest, is like one of us lads going to play for them. And I don't quite think we'd be able to cut in the national.
But
league.
you could save 2 or 3
Well, I
gems.
don't know about that.
That's true. But from the few forums that I read, the general consensus, you feel free to disagree with me, but National League North would be a harder league than the National League South.
Probably this year,
Yes,
I'd agree.
I agree.
So, you know, bringing lads in from probably our standard of football, I don't know, might be a bit too much.
But I think with the National League North, it's more likely to be like 2 divisions
It's
almost,
stretched.
with a 10 right up there and then a group of 12 chucked at the bottom.
Yeah. From the north to the south. Cody.
There are a few sticking points here, and I think I'm going to take away some of your preconceived bias about my opinions in this league. So, to win it, I've gone for Hampton Waterlooville. Good signings. Paul Doswell. Not much else needs to be said. And to win the playoffs, I have gone, Craig, for Billericay Town.
Wow.
And I'm going
You
to tell you
feel
why.
right.
I'm going to tell you why I've gone for Billericay Town. Couple of reasons. One, a couple of days before this episode, they signed Matt Reid.
Yeah.
I hate him.
But that shows to me that Glenn Tamplin is no longer completely in charge of transfers and has finally understood that he is not going to be able to do it. Because he tried last season. I know I got slated for predicting them to go down, but let's be honest, they were nowhere near the title race, and they ended up not being near the playoffs either.
Cock up, mate, to be honest.
Because he sacked the manager that's now in charge again. He's realised his mistake. He's letting him manage the club. I think they're probably going to play a more direct, well, they are going to play a more direct and a less entertaining brand of football. But at that level, it will be successful. And a couple of quick wingers running off Matt Reid, and it could cause chaos. We saw what it did for Lincoln.
Yeah.
Going down at the other end, and this one, I mean, again, 21st, it's just a toss-up between 6 or 7. A really competitive league, a lot of evenly matched teams. I'm not going for Dorking Wanderers who have come up.
No, great story for them. I really hope they stay up. I really hope they do.
13, I think it's 13 promotions in 20 years.
Did you say Dorking to go down?
No, I said they're not going to.
I hope
Oh,
they
no.
do.
It's a good story for Dorking.
And I'm not going for Weymouth either, which was another one to tempt me. One club I do think will be nearabouts is Slough Town, because they had a really good year last year, but I think maybe this year it will be a bit, catch up with them a little bit. Concord Rangers, financial trouble, but in the end, I've stuck with 2. Tonbridge Angels bottom.
Yeah.
And in 21st place, Hungerford Town, who I think most of us went for last year, and it was so close down the bottom. And for them, and I think it was Eastbourne as well, neither of them survived by a great deal. I just think they'll both be down near the bottom again, but I think Hungerford in the end will go down. Craig Savage.
I've also gone for having the Waterlooville to win the league.
I'll be surprised if it's not a clean sweep, to be honest.
Well, yeah, as Cody already explained, Paul does well, ledge. My playoffs. Now, this is going to be an interesting one, because you said... Who did you say for the playoffs? Billericay. I've not gone for Billericay.
You've not gone for Billericay today?
No. I think they're going to do the exact same thing. Do the big talk in July.
I think it goes back to exactly what you've been piping on about for a long, long time, is how much of hands-on is Glenn Tamplin there. If he stays away from it, I agree with you, should go up.
And last year I
The
said
thing
that's
is-
what it cost him, and it did.
the
I
thing
hope
is-
this year-
The more antsy he gets when he's sat there just watching it all, you know, and it's not about him, that's when the wheels come
Don't
off.
get me wrong. I think Billericay will be in the playoffs, but you what you've seen from playoffs from years and years, anything can happen.
Yeah,
But they haven't signed superstars this year. They have signed more... I know they're from League 1, but they're more sensible signings.
So I haven't gone for them.
Okay.
I've gone between my playoff final will be Maidstone
Right.
and Welling United,
Welling United will be up there, definitely.
but I've gone for Maidstone
Oh!
to go up. When we've taken the piss out of Hereford with head of footballers, but then I've just seen who the head of football is for Maidstone, and it's John Steele.
It is John Steele.
Oh, okay.
But Hacken Hayritton is the manager.
He is.
So-
Dream team.
Dream
Dream team.
team. So hopefully they can
Yeah.
use a bit of knowledge. John's obviously it's not. I say there's not much pressure as it was probably in the National League. Sorry, but I think they still have that league. I know they lost Turgut to Ostersons.
Yeah, he's gone out to
Turgut's gone to Ostersons, so hopefully they can still find the goals in there. And I've gone exactly the same for Cody for relegation. Tonbridge Angels What a great name that is. To go to finish 22nd, and Hungerford. And I've said this for years on years. We've gone by.
We're far more similar this year. It's going to be difficult.
Yeah. So for we spoke about Havant and Waterlooville. Just I think that, a couple of decent players already in there. And Rory Deacon, Anthony Straker, obviously with Paul Doswell in charge, should be. They've held on to Alfie Rutherford as well, who was their leading goal scorer. Which
we do need to point out that we all went for the same team to win the South last year, and they did not win the league or even get close. So we'll see if it happens this year.
It's a shame I can't caveat the playoffs because if, as we said, basically if Tamplin stays away, I think Billericay will go up. Ronnie Henry, that Gavin Gunning who played 42 games for Forest Green last year or whatever.
But do you think it's too old to play? Like, look, Ronnie Henry and Matt Reid.
No,
I know it's a good experience.
Yeah.
What I would have been more worried about, before, but they've gone for these big names.
Yeah,
Jamie O'Hara, Jermaine Penn, and Konchesky. All of those. They've signed proper good footballers from a step or two above, and I think that's a good process.
So the other team, it's a shame I can't do this. If the wheels come off at Billericay, now you're going to laugh at this a little bit, and you're going to probably, I think you'll see them on the first day of the season, is Hemel Hempstead. I think they'll be there or thereabouts. You've got Sammy Moore, who's obviously coming from Concord. Alex Wall there this year.
Yeah.
I think they've invested.
That put me off.
Well, yeah, I suppose.
Jack Howes.
You've got your mate's cousin, Isaac Galliford, who is
we saw in the Hitchin FA Cup tie. He was the best player on the pitch, let's be honest.
Well,
against Southend.
To be honest, he's been playing. He's in England C squad now. I think they'll be there or thereabouts. For me, it depends on Billericay's.
So who's tipping?
So I'll go for Billericay, but it's. I'll be pissed off basically if Hemel go up now because I sort of called them.
What a surprise! You went for the same one as me.
And relegation, Charlie.
So relegation. No, he's made a point actually, Craig. Change it, Hemel. Fuck it, I'll go for Hemel. I'm going for Hemel Hempstead. We'll do it. Right, okay.
That's a bold decision because
relegation because you three have already got it. Tunbridge Angels 24th, but in 22nd. Sorry, I knew I'd do this. 22nd. In 21st, I've gone for Hampton and Richmond.
Okay.
What Martin Tyler's Hampton and Richmond?
Reason being, rumours have it that the budget's been cut there, and also their top goal scorer Chris Dixon has gone to AFC Hornchurch, so I think that they won't be able to stay up.
Good knowledge, Charlie Betts.
How can they lose the budget? They've got a decent amount of money from the FA Cup tie against Oldham.
I'm just saying what I read. That's it, Craig. That's about as far as my
research
gossip
goes. As gossip can be. Did you get that from the Sun?
No, not quite. No.
Wikipedia.
The Sun. And we go north of the border to Scotland.
Well,
are we going to state the obvious and who's going to win the league?
I think it'll be closer this year.
It'll be closer. I agree. But
anyway, Dan, let's do this formally. Go for it.
First place. Rangers.
He's gone for it.
I didn't even have them finish second last year. Now I'm basing this on one piece of knowledge, and that is Kieran Tierney leaving Celtic.
Well, that's exactly what he's doing.
They have signed a replacement fullback who's decent, but we talk about the Scottish League. And I know a couple of people disagreed with this last year, but even our good friends who are supporting Scottish teams have admitted that the standard of the league's going down.
Oh gosh, yeah.
We saw Kilmarnock in the Europa League go up to Connors Quay, a part-time side from.
Yeah. And despite those comments we had on YouTube about a year ago, we were right. But anyway, yeah, carry on.
I mean that's the reason for me. I've gone for Rangers just because I think they've got a bit more star quality. They've had a pre-season of training with those players. Again, partly for Rangers, it depends. Can they keep players like Morelos? I guess is
Well, if he actually stays on the pitch and not get sent off, that's
at least this year,
I'm going to give it Rangers.
From the start of the year this year, they've got Defoe there if they need it as well. So I think they'll be.
No Lafferty now. So
I honestly think there'll be less than 3 points in it, whichever way it goes.
Yeah.
At the bottom of the table. And I'm going to have to improvise here because I've just realised I haven't actually written them on my sheet.
No, this is all blind luck, this one now for me.
Bottom of the table, St Mirren.
Oh, you bastard! Go on.
So St Mirren, last year they were in the relegation playoff. Very, very narrowly survived in the end. Did have Ron Kearney in charge.
Gone back to Coleraine.
He's gone back to Coleraine.
They sacked him because basically he said that he didn't want to live there full time. They wanted him there full time. Obviously, he was a part-time manager before. I think he spent 3 days a week back home in Northern Ireland. Then he'd go over. Obviously, depending on when they had games and stuff. But yeah, they wanted him there full time. He said no, so they binned him off.
And he clearly didn't have the impact they were hoping.
No.
And then in 11th place for the relegation playoff, I've gone for Livingston. Now, I had them to go down last year. We all did.
We got pelters for it.
But the reason is, halfway through the season... Well, no, you got pelters for not knowing where Livingston is. Halfway through the season...
Don't bring us into your mistake.
No, but they finished, 8th in the end of
it? But we did the mid-season review, and they were up in 4th or 5th at the time. They had a flying start, and then they gradually just tailed off. And I think that will continue. They haven't got the biggest squad. They haven't got the biggest budget.
No.
As we mentioned... They're somewhere between Edinburgh and Glasgow, aren't they?
No, it's closer to Edinburgh. I went to a wedding there. That's what I went to my own brother-in-law's wedding there. And I still thought it was Nick last
So
year, which is not. But anyway,
we'll call it a slip of the tongue.
It's a bit embarrassing.
But the point is, I don't think they're going to be able to achieve the same feat as they did in the first half of last year. And based on the second half form, they probably will be down there. So 11th place Livingston, but I do think they'll go down in the playoff.
Yeah, Craig.
I've gone for Celtic to win it, so make it 9 in a row. The thing is, it's a weird one with this because Rangers, obviously, once Rangers get on a run, they get on a good run. But once they lose at the stupidest of games, and Gerrard will blame it on something else.
And do you know what it does depend on as well? How both sides do in Europe. It's going to be so crucial.
Oh, God, yeah.
Well, yeah, go on. I was going to allude to that, but yeah.
If both teams are in the Europa League, Rangers have a good shot.
Yeah.
Champions League, Celtic's just going to get wiped every game, depending on what group they're in.
And the Champions League schedule with the Tuesday or Wednesday is far more friendly for the Scottish League as well.
Sunday,
My tips who go down, I've also gone with St Mirren.
We presume you've gone for Rangers in second?
Oh, yeah.
Because last year you went for Aberdeen.
You didn't. Well.
In your lovely accent.
Aberdeen.
St Mirren to finish 12th, and Hamilton.
Yeah,
finish
that'll
11th because they always struggle. And they just don't play good.
And it's a small side, awkward place, not a nice surface.
No.
They do produce occasionally brilliant young players, but they quite often go before they play many in the first team.
Charlie?
Similar, I've gone for Celtic to win the league, but only just. And the only reason I say that is, as much as Rangers might be on the up, they've got players like Scotty Arfield. They're still bringing in my opinion, second-rate. Like Joe Aribo,
he's
people
a
like
good
that.
player.
He
Joe
is, but
Aribo's fantastic.
When you consider, maybe you compare that to some of the lads that Celtic have got, Lee Griffiths, people like that who's back. I just don't think they're until Rangers are getting in players of the same standard of Celtic. I don't think it'll. I think these young, hungry lads are okay.
Do you know why they haven't really got anyone to like a decent player to come in? Because they don't do well in Europe.
Well, no. However, they've just beaten that Progress 2-0, whatever it is.
And they did get to the group stages last year. They nearly got through. That would have made a big difference.
That's what I'm saying. They should have gone through in that group stage.
Yeah.
And flopped.
But they got Glenn Kamara pre-signed and Jordan Jones from Kilmarnock. Glenn Kamara and Holder.
The difference for me, like you say, it depends on Europe. If they're still in Europe, their squad is nowhere near big enough to cope with both. Whereas I would argue that Celtic have, although maybe not as good as first team players necessarily,
got enough.
They've got more quality players.
I think the thing is, we're all in agreement that the last week of the transfer window is probably going to decide it, and we're not going to know what's going to happen in that as we make these predictions.
And going the other way, so bottom of the table, I actually went for Hamilton, and in 11th, I've gone for St Mirren. I think we spoke about them. Is Anton Ferdinand staying? I mean, that for me was everything that was wrong with St Mirren last year. It wouldn't surprise me if this sort of stuff goes on again.
I think he's gone.
They bring in, people who are just after a little bit of money for the end of their career. I think unless they start bringing in proper, decent youth players through, I think they're going to struggle anyway. These journeymen are just not good enough for them. So yeah, that's Scottish Premier League.
And then we go across the sea to Northern Ireland.
Charlie's expert area where last season did you score?
Just before we start,
I think I got 1 point, which everyone got, which was Newry.
Yeah, I obviously have no knowledge, but are we setting the obvious who's going to win the league?
Are you going to be smart enough to copy me rather than Charlie this year?
I think I've copied for most of you the way this is going.
Yeah.
So who have you gone for to win the Irish Premiership?
So there's a little bit of a change this year, isn't there?
Yeah, a little bit.
Because Larne are in the first division, aren't they, Charlie?
Now, can I just really quickly tell the story about this because it's been bugging me all day. So at the end of last year's episode, when we did this, I have forgot to mention Larne. Now, the only reason I did that was we had a very small Twitter following for about a week off of loads of people from, a handful of people from Larne.
Can we also point out they were in the second division? You just wanted to sound knowledgeable.
Yeah, and basically I said, oh yeah, we'll mention it in your prediction show, realising that we didn't actually have any way of getting them in. Yeah. So what I did was, we recorded this on a Friday evening, I woke up at 7 o'clock next morning and thought, I've got to quickly shoehorn this in because we wanted to get the episode out that evening. So I was basically sat there in my dressing gown and I hadn't spoken to anyone before that bit, so my voice was very husky. And it was just me in the room, and it just sounded like I was trying to whisper sweet nothings down the phone to someone.
It sounded like you were on an old ham radio.
Yeah. However,
what are you wearing?
But yeah, no, the money bags that is Larne have come up, which will give
Purple bricks.
Interesting.
However, despite Larne's money bags and riches, and the fact that Crusaders have been doing well, they lost narrowly to Wolves 2-0. I have gone for Linfield to win it again.
Yeah, I agree.
In addition to the squad there last year, they've signed Shane Lavery, who's a young striker. And he's a really decent player. And I think he's got a lot of firepower and pace up front, and I think he'll lead them to glory as well.
And last?
Last place, I have gone for the safest bet, and I think we've probably all gone for it. I've gone for Carrick Rangers.
Yeah.
So
definitely.
they've come up, and I think they're going to go straight back
Craig
down.
has not gone for Carrick Rangers.
And the second side into the relegation playoff, should it be appropriate, is Warren Point Town. Same as last year.
Craig.
Well, I didn't do 11th place for the National League, for the Irish League, because I didn't even look at the table.
No, go on.
So I also went for the safest bet. I went for Linfield to win it. Yeah. And my 12th place is Warren Point. And as now Cody said, 11th place, Carrick Rangers.
Oh, okay.
Because I didn't know, who got promoted.
Carrick Rangers was borderline vets.
You must have known Larne got promoted.
Well, that was the obvious.
Yeah, I think Larne will finish second. I think they'll run them close.
Yeah, I've got them second.
I presume Larne will be
Yeah, they've brought in a few lads. Jonathan McMurray from Ballymena, who was
good player.
Great, very good player.
So just to confirm, you've all copied being on for Linfield this year.
Yeah. But they signed. That's only because.
Team?
Yes.
Yes, they signed Bastian Herry from Waterford as well.
Yeah, he's decent.
But there was a discussion point because they got Matthew Shevlin from Ballymena. Now I think we spoke about this off in a WhatsApp group a while back, that they signed him on amateur forms. So basically, because he was contracted at Ballymena, but his contract was running out, they still could have got money for him if he'd have transferred from one to the other. So what they've done is, because it's only semi-professional football, they've signed him on an amateur contract, meaning that he was then basically just, free to go, and then they'll pay him, when eventually he starts to make. But they won't owe Ballymena any money, which is a bit of a pants thing, because he come through their youth team. At one point, Crystal Palace were looking at him. They would have got a little bit of money for him.
And you would like to think, with the couple of sides, I think Linfield and Larne are the only two that are professional in Northern Ireland.
Yes. Crusaders have gone professional.
Okay. But they're the clubs with them. Support the other clubs.
Yeah.
If you two do all right in Europe, that's great. But if you haven't got a competitive league, you've seen in Scotland, how that's brought other teams down, and even Celtic and Rangers in Europe.
I think things with Ballymena as well, just really quickly, they're in that Iron Brew Cup, whatever it's called, it's a Tunnocks Cup now. That the extra fixtures of Europe, it'd just be too much for them. So to go down, I've gone for Carrick. It's borderline a vets team. I mean, these names will mean nothing to you, but there's lads who've been around. Mark Surgeon, Denver Gage, William Faulkner, been around all loads of different clubs, all over 35, and they're basically the best players, and they're just not going to cope with it. And I know I said about them last year, but just because they've lost their main man now, I'm going to go for Institute this time. And I really hope, because I looked an idiot last year, they go down this year.
Well, very, very wise and bold predictions from all three of us.
Did you just say wise? You haven't been listening to the last hour, many minutes this is.
No.
1 hour and 7 minutes.
Well, if you have, fantastic. That is it for our predictions. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe. We will do a mid-season review.
Let us know down in the comments what you think.
Yes, let us know what you think.
Who do you think's going to win?
Who do you think will go up in these leagues?
As the main focus of most of the comments last year, my lack of geographical knowledge of the British Isles.
How many of Charlie's Wikipedia facts are incorrect?
You can follow us on Twitter @HonestFootball3. The season's back. We'll see you next time.